So we are logged into Constant Contact. And if you have another email marketing provider, that's fine. You can use them. I will try to use vernacular or wording that at least you'll be able to know what to Google to figure out how to do it in your provider. If you don't have one, we do have a discount available to our chamber members for Constant Contact. So the first step of this process is we're going to upload the reduced file size of our PDF. So I am in the library. This is where it's going to store any of my media. And so for other platforms, they might use the word media, but a lot of times it's library. We're just going to go to upload my computer, click to upload, and we're going to go find that reduced size. And Constant Contacts actually is nice in that it uploads both the PDF, but an image that shows what it is. So that's there if you need it. And then you also want to make sure that you are saving this, whether it's the name or the folder, in a way that will make sense for you to find it in the future if you need to. And we're just going to click upload. The next step is actually to create a new email list. So you're going to go into contacts. I think some places use audience, but I would definitely look up the tutorial first because it might matter to you whether or not you create a list or a tag or a group. But with Constant Contact, I like to create a list. And so I will name it something obvious to myself. I don't care. I'm not worried about what other people see. I need to be able to know at a glance what things are or how to find them. So I like to name it opt-in, or you might do LM for lead magnet, and then I put the name of what they're getting. So I know everybody on this email list got a specific type of lead magnet. This will also help future you when you're looking at list segmentation, or you want to send an email ad to only to people that are interested in a specific type of product, and a bunch of other reasons. So this is what I recommend. So we're going to hit create. And then we're going to go to campaign, and we want to create a new campaign, and you want to look for automation. I would venture to say most email marketing providers will say email automation or autoresponder. Again, we're looking for that auto part. And these are very nice in that they're telling you exactly what they are. We're going to do an automated series because I want it to happen when someone is added to a list. I've also been able to do very similar things with welcome email template, but we're going to do the series for now. We're going to name it. Again, nobody else will see this but you or future staff. So you want to put something that is very obvious. And then we're going to click save. Now it's going to ask us about the trigger type. So we're going to click on it and look at the options. For what we're doing, we're going to do a contact joins the list. Again, if you're looking at another platform and you're doing tags or groups, that is probably going to be a trigger option for you. But these are also interesting just to see because you can say if somebody clicks on a certain link in one of your emails, they get added to this series, or if they open a certain email. It's very cool, but we're going to start small. So a contact joins our opt-in list, and then you got to go find it, and then just select the one list, and we could also create a new list here, so I guess, and hit save. Now, the first thing we want to do is that we see the first time a contact joins this list, we actually want to change this timing from wait 4 days to immediately, because we want to make sure they get that free thing immediately. But with that, you can see where you can add series, you can add more emails, and you can space out your emails so that you're not overwhelming them, because you're not going to want to send them 10 emails in one day. Nobody wants that. But you can customize what they're getting when. But again, for this tutorial, we're just going to focus on the simple basics. All right, and then we're going to assume we're starting from scratch. So we're going to do create new email. If you were doing a coupon, I do recommend finding one that already has a coupon in the template just because it's easier than trying to recreate that look. But for the rest of us, it probably won't matter because you're going to focus on having a button, and you can create a button in any template. So if you already have an email that has been branded in Constant Contact, you might just want to copy it so you don't have to recreate some extra work. But we're going to start fresh just in case you haven't done it any yet. So the very first thing we want to do is rename our email. Again, for the campaign name, nobody will see this but you. And I still like to rename the email so that if I'm looking at a weird report later, I can still tell what it was that they got. So I will still usually name it an opt-in, what they were getting, and then I will actually number the emails. Or if you were doing a series, I might vaguely describe what was in that email type. And then you want to change the email address it's coming from, as well as the subject line. You can put in something very simple, like here's your free. You can put in something very simple, like here's your free gift. And then we're going to focus on actually editing this email. So I tend to leave the social media buttons in there. I would also throw in your logo somewhere at the top because, again, we're trying to introduce them to our business. And then we're going to look at the top bar. So we're not editing the email. Look at the very top bar and find library and open it in a new tab. If you didn't already, we want to find the PDF that we uploaded. So make sure it is the PDF. If you click on it, you will then see a file URL. We want to copy that link. And then we go back to our other tab. And now I happen to have chosen a template that had a present image in it. And I'm just going to hit link, web page, and I'm going to paste it. That is my preferred way. Another very small change is link document, and you should be able to see a list of documents you have uploaded. So you would just hit that radius button and hit insert. If you wanted to, you could also enable click segmentation. So this is a way for you to create almost a double opt-in, but making it very easy on them. So if they've taken the time to open your email and click on this link to download it, then they're probably a real person. So then you could say enable click segmentation, send to my general email list or whatever it is. If you're doing an email series, you might want to wait till the end of the series before they get your regular emails. And then we just hit insert, and it is now a link. But we need to be as redundant as possible, just in case. So I'm going to delete this. It's very nice, but I'm going to delete it. I'm going to say, here's your free thing. I'm going to move it above the present because I want it to be really obvious. You would make thing whatever the title of your free opt-in was. And again, we want to link and make that a link for them as well because just in case, we want to make it as easy as possible for people. One thing I also like to do is in the design, the body text is currently set to 14, which is okay. I would definitely not go any lower than 14, but I actually tend to do 16, so it's easier to read. And if you don't like this color, this is where you would change the color of links to match whatever your brand colors would be. So we've got link, and then I'm actually going to add in a new box. I'm going to go to build, text, and I want to go in a little bit deeper. So I've put, you're on the right track to whatever their end goal would be. So again, if we were doing a checklist for 10 things to do before buying a house, we would say you're on the right track to buying a house and then maybe throwing in an adjective like safely. And then we're going to say something about if you are creating a series of emails instead of one email, say we'll be back in your inbox tomorrow or whatever your timeline is with another piece of advice to help you achieve XYZ. Again, we want to be pretty specific to say stay top of mind. If your usual product or service is just a little bit different from what the lead magnet is, this is a great place for you to tie the two in together. And then again, we want to introduce our company. So this is just how I've chosen to do it for this sentence. You could ignore this whole part and just say about us, we're a company, this is what we do. Put in your logos, your images. If you tend to put staff photos on stuff, this is a great place to do that, to introduce them to you, to make it personable. To do that, you would just go over to the left-hand side where it says build, drag over an image block, or click it, hit replace. If it doesn't work because mine hates me, you hit save, and then you go back to campaign. And then you click on the email you were editing in the first place. And then you click on it and hit replace, and then it works, and I don't know why. And then you would just, again, upload whatever photo you were trying to do. If you need it to be on the left-hand side of text, you would select this box, and we're going to click and drag. And you should see that pink box moving around. That is showing you where you're about to place it. So I can actually just move right there, and it will auto-resize to make sense. If you liked these fancy parts of your template, you could keep it. I'm going to delete it for now. And then you can probably leave your social media links. Just again, make sure they work and they go to the right places. You would just hit edit. And this is where you would copy and paste your links. And you can also add a few more networks, or say if you don't have one, that's okay. Just delete it because we don't want to promote things we don't have. You'll have your contact information at the very bottom of the email that is required when sending marketing emails, and email service providers like Constant Contact, MailChimp, whoever it is, will automatically put that in there for you. But most people don't actually read it, so we can put in another text box at the bottom and just say something like company name and phone number to at least provide it. And then I'm going to get rid of my top spacer. I want to undo this padding. And I'm going to drag in a divider just because I like them. Okay, so I think I'm done. Again, this is not the fanciest thing, but it's a little bit nicer than we can do in some other projects. And again, when you're using your actual real photos, it will look a lot nicer. Double check the design. If you know your branding and fonts, try to use those. You do not want to use fancy fonts in emails. Instead probably want to focus on serif versus sans serif and kind of leave it at that. You probably want to focus on whatever these first few options are because they're the ones that are on most computers. That's why they're at the top. So if you pick something fancy, there's a chance the person you send it to doesn't have it and it looks weird to them. For outer background, as you can see, that's the black currently. You can change it to match your brand. You can also, in Constant Contact, choose from a few patterns just to make it look fancier. Inner background, I generally recommend leaving white because, again, you want this to be as easy to read as possible. You want function over design because if they can't read it, they're definitely not going to consume it and you'll never hear from them again. And then buttons and dividers, same thing. We can change that to our branding to make more sense for whatever we're doing. Okay, so I'm done. I'm going to hit save, just in case. And then if you need to, check in preview, send test. You can actually, if you need to get approval from somebody, you can type in their email address right here. And you can add in a personal, like hey, this is a draft. Let me know if I can move forward or if it needs suggestions or whatever approval you might have to get. And you can send it to them. Then we're going to hit continue. And it takes us back to the autoresponder series that we're working on. So let's give it a look over. The trigger is if somebody joins our specific email list that we created, it's going to send them this email immediately. If you're creating additional emails, you would add to series and work on those. You want to do those first because Constant Contact does not like letting you edit autoresponders. I know in some other ones you can, but even when you do, it kind of is odd because even though you've changed the content of your emails, the reports will still be based on the email order that originally got sent in. So basically it's a little bit odd. So do spend time, and if you plan to send additional emails, go ahead and plan those out first. But again, for this, we're just doing the one. So we're going to hit activate. And it's just going to double check with us. We're just going to say, hey, we're going to look at it. We'll start processing new list joins right away. So as soon as that trigger happens, they're going to get that email. So we're going to say, yep, continue. It didn't see anything odd. So we are live. This is live and it's showing sent, open, queue, clicked. And we'll show you what that looks like in a second. So now we have to actually get people onto this list. So we're going to go to sign up forms. We're still in Constant Contact. I've opened a new tab for secret reasons. Now you have a few options. If you are using a landing page service like Opt-in Monster, or you know how to create landing pages on your website, you can just create the code. And that's what these are. So the processes will be very similar. The difference is you will be able to select inline code and actually copy this and paste it into wherever you need to paste it to. But if you don't know how to do that, we're going to create a landing page that is very basic in Constant Contact. So we're actually going to scroll down. We're going to click. Very first step is we're going to retitle things so we know what we're looking at. And again, nobody will see this but you. So just make sure it's something future you will remember what that means or is. You're going to make sure you use your logo. You're going to change the headline to something relevant to your opt-in. So I've changed the headline to something, again, very specific about the free lead magnet that they're getting. Then in the description, you want to start with the benefits, how their life will change, what will happen after they complete or use the thing that you're giving them. So you want to guide them through that end result. That's going to be the thing that excites them. Then you're going to give them the kind of specific thing of what they're getting. In this case, a free checklist that will blank. Then we're going to change the button. A lot of people don't like subscribe, so something simple like get the checklist or yes, I want it. You don't have to go crazy with it. And we're still in content, so we can hit back and we can look at design. The outer background is up to you. Choose image for the background. I personally don't care. Inner background, probably leave white because we want it to be as readable as possible. And then you probably want to match your brand colors. You want to use similar colors to what you have on your website. So hopefully you know these from when you had your logo or website done. If not, there are some free tools out there. So I'm using the Google Chrome browser, and I have added a free extension called Eyedropper. When I do this, and I'm on somebody else's website, I'm on Office Depot, so I don't have a login or anything. I click on extensions. That is, again, just part of Google Chrome. I'm going to click on Eyedropper for now, and then I can pick color from web page. So I click this box. And then when I hover, you should see this tiny little square that's changing colors based on what I'm hovering on. So I can hover over my logo. It looks like it goes away, but what it actually did was it got that color, and I click on my eyedropper at the top, and it's now showing me what that selected color is. So I just need the thing that happens after the hashtag or the pound sign. Now I'm going to go over here. I'm going to change my button color to match my logo, and I'm going to click on advanced. And then this is where I paste that code and hit apply. And now it matches my branding. You can do the same thing with your heading if you want. If nothing else, personally, I just like black because it's easier to read than gray. And I will also change my links. Okay. And then, so that's all for design. So I'm going to hit back on design. Then I'm going to go back to content, and we need to look at our thank you page. So let's click on that. So this says, thanks for signing up. We're glad we can keep in touch, which is okay, but we need to consider that people may not know what to expect. I've changed the headline to your freebies in your inbox so people know to go check their email. And then I just say something kind of nice like, thanks for trusting us with your email. Your free checklist is waiting for you in your inbox. And then with ConstantContact's new updated landing page tool, there's actually an option to display a download or redirect link, which is very handy. So we could go back to our library, copy our PDF link, and paste it right here. And they will be able to download it from this page without going back to their inbox. So again, we're providing it to them in multiple ways. This is just part of good customer service. But if you chose to do a video or something else, you could just change the button name from download to something else like watch now. You just want it to make sense for them. Alternatively, we could put in a link to a tripwire. If you've had that set up, you could put in your very specific URL, and then you would change the button name to get 20% off this specific item or whatever your tripwire might be. So that can kind of help you get a few sales. You will not have huge numbers, but that can be a nice evergreen way to be selling all the time. So that's our thank you page. We're going to hit back. So we already did design. So next we're going to do contact fields. Don't make them give you too much information. You want them to have to fill out as little as possible, because with every box you add, they are less likely to actually fill it out. You might get away with it a little bit more for high ticket items and for really amazing relevant things for those, but for the most part, I just do their email and their first name. If they're a business, chances are they will actually have their business name and URL as part of their email. I know not all the time, but again, I would just try to work with giving them as few steps to have to complete as possible. If you do offer birthday or anniversary gifts or discounts, then yes, I would go ahead and put those because they're probably not going to give it to you later, but you get the idea. So we're going to click back. Now we're going to double check our settings and we need to choose the list. So again, we named ours after an opt-in. If you need to, you can customize the URL. So I could say, and it'll look a little bit more real. So if we're hit back, we're looking at all the options. We know we updated the content, which is both the landing page and the thank you page. We edited the design to match our brand colors, and we checked the contact fields to make sure we're asking for accurate but as little information as possible. And we've double checked our settings and make sure it's going to the correct email list. Because again, our autoresponder is tied to a specific email list. So once that's done, we just hit publish, and that is a thing that now exists. So now all we have to do is share this page, and we're probably going to copy our link, but you can run an ad or post it on social media from ConstantContact. But for now, I'm just going to look at it. So I'm going to open a new tab and paste my link. And yep, that looks right. And then I'm just going to test it. I'm going to say get the checklist. I got the thanks, and then I would go check my email box to make sure I actually got it. But we can also look at, I left up the page where we were looking at our autoresponder. So if I hit refresh, okay, it took me like 5 refreshes. It just took like half a minute, but it already shows me sent. So it already sent to one person, aka me. If you had multiple emails, you would have another section of this, and once they got this, they would go in the queue for the next email. So you can see how many people are still in that series. So now we need to be able to promote this landing page. So we can just put the link out there, we can share it on social media, but I recommend creating an ad for it. And what I mean by ad is just an image that promotes it. And I'm going to show you how to do that in Canva for free in the next video.